the Union Executive, the Prime Minister, Cabinet, and the Council of Ministers. So, in this video, we are going to learn about the powers and the functions of the Prime Minister, the composition of the Council of Ministers, powers and functions of the Cabinet, and distinction between the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. Also, collective and individual responsibilities of the Cabinet. So, let's start with the powers and functions of the Prime Minister of India. Prime Minister acts as a link between the President and the Cabinet. Also, on the advice of the Prime Minister, the President summons and prorogues the Parliament and dissolves the Lok Sabha. Also, on the advice of the Prime Minister, the judges of the Supreme Court, the governors, and the ambassadors are appointed. And if a minister takes decision on certain matter, but the decision is not considered by the Council of Ministers, the President may instruct the Prime Minister to submit the matter for the consideration of the Council. Prime Minister and the Cabinet. It is the duty of the Prime Minister to choose the various categories of minister. The President, on the advice of Prime Minister, appoints the ministers and allocates their portfolio. So the selection is being done by the Prime Minister, but the appointment is being done by the President of India. The Prime Minister is the leader of the Cabinet. If he resigns, the entire ministry has to resign. That's why the Prime Minister is also known as the captain of the ship. They sink and swim together. If the Prime Minister is not satisfied with the work of any minister, he will make that minister resign. The Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman of the Cabinet and presides over the meeting of the Cabinet. He decides the agendas to be discussed at the Cabinet meetings. He also coordinates the working of various departments. The Prime Minister conveys all the decisions of the Cabinet to the President. As we have just seen, the Prime Minister acts as a bridge between the Cabinet and the President. The Prime Minister inside the Parliament. So, the Prime Minister is the leader of the majority party in the Parliament. Therefore, he is the leader of the Lok Sabha. He makes all the important announcements of national policies in the Lok Sabha. On the advice of the Prime Minister, the President summons and prorogues the Parliament and dissolves the Lok Sabha. If a minister's work is severely criticized by the opposition, the Prime Minister, being the captain, saves him from this awkward situation. The Prime Minister controls situations inside the House at times of controversy. Now, let's talk about the appointment of the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister, being the head of the Cabinet, is appointed by the President. The other ministers are also appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. A non-member can also be a minister, but within a period of 6 months from the date of his appointment, he has to secure a seat in any of the houses of the Parliament. For example, Dr. S. Jaishankar, who acts as the External Affairs Minister of India. When he was elected, he was neither a member of Lok Sabha nor Rajya Sabha, but within the period of 6 months, he was elected as a member of the Rajya Sabha, and then after he continues with that post. Now, what are the categories of minister? There are 3 categories of minister: Cabinet Minister, Ministers of State, and Deputy Minister. So these are the types of ministers. Cabinet Minister are the senior most minister. They hold major portfolios like finance, defense, home, etc. They attend cabinet meetings and formulate the policies of the government. Whereas the Minister of Estates are junior in status to the cabinet ministers, but senior to the deputy minister. They may or may not hold any portfolio, can only attend the cabinet meetings if invited. They do not formulate the policies of the government. Now, deputy ministers, they are the junior most ministers, never hold any portfolio. They never attend the cabinet meetings. They are to assist the senior minister. Powers and functions of the cabinet. The cabinet formulates the external and internal policies of the government. It takes decisions on the matter like defense, electoral reforms, president's rules in the state, etc. The ministers have to consult the cabinet on all major matter. Each ministry or department should sincerely follow the instruction of the cabinet. All important appointments are made by the president after consulting the cabinet. The cabinet chooses our ambassadors to other nations. The cabinet coordinates the working of different departments for the smooth functioning of the government. Also, it prepares the president's address to the parliament. Also, the president issues ordinances on the advice of the cabinet ministers. The cabinet is very important in moving the amendment of the constitution. The houses of the parliament are summoned by the president, and this initiative in this matter is taken by the cabinet. More than 95% of the bills are government bills prepared by the ministers. Actually, the bills which are being presented or tabled in the houses of the parliament by the ministers are known as government bills. And when non-ministers present the bill in the House of the Parliament, that is known as private bill. So, if a bill is being presented by any minister, that bill is known as government bill. But if a bill is being presented by non-minister, that means the person is not holding any ministry. And if that person present the bill, that is known as private member bill. Also, the money bill can be introduced in the Lok Sabha only by a minister on the prior recommendation of the President of India. The finance minister prepares the annual budget. The annual budget or annual financial statement is being prepared and presented by the finance minister. The president can declare emergency under Article 352 on the recommendation of the cabinet. Decisions regarding the proclamation of financial emergency and a president's rule in a state are decided by the cabinet. Now, what is the difference between the council of ministers and the cabinet? So, the council of minister or the ministry is a large group of all categories of minister: cabinet minister, minister of state, deputy minister. It means all the three types of ministers combinedly known as the council of ministers. Whereas the cabinet is a sub part of council of ministers and it is a small body of around 25 senior ministers. The council of ministers does not meet frequently, whereas the cabinet meets frequently. The Prime Minister of India may or may not consult the Council of Ministers, whereas the Prime Minister consults the Cabinet on all major matters. The President is not assisted by the Council of Ministers. In reality, the Cabinet assists the President. Now, what are the responsibilities of the Cabinet? Let's talk about the collective responsibility. All the ministers are jointly responsible to the Lok Sabha. It means if the government loses its confidence in the Lok Sabha, it has to resign. And when a decision is taken by the cabinet regarding any matter, all the ministers must agree with it because it acts as a team. If the no confidence motion is passed by the opposition against the ministry, it has to resign. The minister swim and sink together. It means they enjoy power and lose power together. Now, let's talk about individual responsibilities. Each minister alone is responsible for his work to the president. If the president is not happy with the work of any minister, he may dismiss him. In reality, actually, if the prime minister is not happy with any minister, he can make the minister resign through the president of India. So these are the responsibilities, collective and individual, of the cabinet. So thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.